keep on disarming him, then Shadowblade is going to be a non-factor in team fights. Not only that, there is a possibility for some big plays, or in terms of sort of stopping Tempest helmets with the Scout Eye or the Electric Eye. So, looking forward to that.
There's a Ward of Sight put down, of course, coming up from Scout. He does go his Vanish first off, and again, not a huge surprise there. The idea of the Electric Guide to possibly help to block camps is, again, good for some reasons, but choosing to get that Vanish just to be safe and make sure that he has an escape if need be here. So, can always try the lat sabers, that's true. All right, but yeah, again, it is USC, so obviously we've talked about that several times before, too. By now, though, if you're a team like Reason Gaming, you'd figure you would be at least somewhat used to it.
They should have been practicing US TMN.
Exactly.
Like Pro Busk.
If you know it's yeah, he made that point. If you know it's coming, I mean, it's not like this is a surprise matchup for these guys. They knew that they were going to be playing one another basically since Thursday. Obviously, when Nullstone did win their matchup, so. Thus, here we are. But all right, going back to, again, the lineups here. Again, we do have another case. I've been pretty adamant about that, the idea of running a Dampier with a jungle hero. And they got that here once again. Now, running it with an Amphora is obviously good synergy there, but he's going to have to rely on pretty good farm in the laning phase, which he definitely should get here against Magnus, of course. As Asuka, again, that's Cholo Simeon, changing his name recently. Playing pretty aggressive off the bat. He's got some fairly good regen, but he's going to run out quickly here. Amphora is going to box him out pretty well. So.
He's got lane control, though, which is decent. But the worst thing that can happen if he doesn't get lane control and gets boxed up by Amphora, because he's going to be stuck level 1 for ages. But he's got range control. Oh, he's got lane control because double arch now for Reason.
You know what I'm noticing here too, though? Tankafed is actually playing the jungle, so he's not playing the main support here.
Oh,
Nier's playing the Amphora instead. So yeah, a little bit of switch up than the Tuesday match that we saw.
It's a little bit surprising, honestly. It could be, honestly, though, because like when you're playing Amphora and you're sort of sitting with a Dampir, you want to have like that perfect synergy and communication because it's that important. Whereas, obviously with Tankafit on the team, it could be a little bit, poor communication, coordination. But Immoboy and Nier have played together. Obviously, they're brothers, aren't they? So, or is it the member? It is, yeah.
No, it's Immoboy and Zane.
I knew that. Yeah, I'm freaking noob. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're still going to have good communication because they've been together for like a long, long time as a team. Whereas Tankafit obviously is the new addition, and you want to make sure you have good communication and with the new 4 TBs, because the worst thing you could happen is like you TP and Dampier's off farming the map or doing something else, and it's fail. So that could be the reasoning why.
We've got some very good brother combinations when you really think about it in Han history. You got the Chessie and Limp, the Z-Freak and Swindamelons, of course, the B-Kid and Chew. And then we have... they're not brothers.
Yes.
Just kidding. We got Zane and Immoboy, though. That's, we're talking about there. So definitely some good combinations of brothers playing together. As, they have for a while there. So, if you didn't know that, every now and then we bring it up, but not necessarily stressed about. I'm not sure who's older, though, to be fair. I want to say Immoboy, but not 100% on that.
Sure.
Makes him cooler, of course. Creep Farm, how are we looking at? Middle lane, Deadwood versus, actually, Legionnaire. Oh, no, he's fine. Deadwood versus Kraken here. Kraken 15-0, Deadwood 15-2. So both of these are hard-hitting melee heroes. Going pretty even so far. I don't know. I mean, would you really give an advantage to either one here? Is this just simply, just last hit and...
it's just
better,
last hit. There's no way that either can really kill each other. I mean, if there's going to be kill potential, I think it's going to come from the Deadwood, but both are so tanky that they're not going to drop. It's just going to come down to creep score. If I was going to give it to anyone, it'd be like Kraken, but it'd be like 55-45, and Mike was tired.
Yeah, I was clicking on the X. I was trying to get to it, but it didn't go to in time. But anyways, he clearly just runs into Legionnaire, and Amphora was there to assist. I'm not sure exactly how that ultimately played out, but my guess is maybe he was forced in that direction as far as being chased and just could not get away, and Legionnaire again caught him off, so that's a good bloodlust. And did Legionnaire get that, in fact? He got the assist, at least, and Amphora got the kill. But hey, Legionnaire even getting the assist, that's huge. They really excel his jungle farm. He's done a very good job. I've been watching, taking about with these stacks. I mean, he's already 350 gold per minute now with that assist, so he's looking very strong.
Yeah.
It's not good to have the Legionnaire opposing jungle doing that well.
Yeah, but they couldn't punish it though. They've got Tempest in their own jungle, so there was no way they could really punish it, and that's when Legionnaire can be the biggest impact. And something I completely didn't talk about though is the Scout versus Tempest. Like whenever we first saw Scout, it was against a Tempest. It was like I think it was the grand fight. It might have been like winners bracket, but anyway, it was Stay Green versus. Stay Green EU, I think, actually, at the time. Anyway, it was the team against Minots. It was against Minots.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Scout was played, and it was like completely revolutionary kind of thing from Stay Green. Like they literally all they did is block Tempest jungle, so they delayed his farm completely. And I have seen him; he has been placing wards here and there, and that's why Tempest farm is only 260 compared to the 360 of Legionnaire. So, yeah, Scout pick actually is a really, really good pick here. Really,
it's kind of
drafted.
Delving into history, definitely, with this pickup, as you're pointing out, and there's a reason why he was pretty powerful around that time. I want to say he did get a couple of nerfs that did ultimately help die him off, and when he was pretty powerful. I forget exactly what it was, to be honest. Maybe something to do with the electric guy as far as the vision goes. But
no, it was the Vanish.
Was it the Vanish? Okay.
Vanish mover speed and attack speed was
okay,
nerfed.
That sounds
and
right.
the mana cost as well. The mana cost was increased.
Yeah.
And the movement speed, I think base movement speed was.
So they just screwed over the ability then.
Mate, I was a proper. You remember when Scout was like mega cancer? Yeah, I played it all the time. So like when it nerfed, I was like quite upset. But
yeah. Shadow Play though, he's having a great time too. You can't forget about him. 400 gold per minute. This is an excellent farming hero, especially because of free farm. Well, most heroes, of course, but he's going to be able to excel pretty well right here. Has the steam boots. He is maxing out his Q first, by the way. This is one of these heroes, man. Really, you could build it so many different ways, I feel like. Again, that's kind of the idea of the hero. He, in a sense, can be played as anything. Strength, agility, or intellect, so.
Yeah, he really can. And I think it comes down to his sort of play style. I mean, I always talk about the sort of carry of Shadowblade, and I think it does the most amount of damage, surprisingly. But in this game, you could definitely make an argument for going like the agility-based carry because there's a lot of physical right-click here, and obviously int isn't going to give you the armor, whereas the agility carry will, for example. A lot of physical presence from both Deadwood, Legionnaire, Dampen, and even the Scout. So, yeah, I could definitely see an agility sort of style of carry, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Nymphora doing a bit of roam here early on. Actually placed a ward of sight near the Ancients here, so near getting ready for the inevitable Ancient stack, possibly. You got Shadowplay going to pop that Soul Sight of his and box out Scout quite a bit. Soul Sight, a powerful tool, not only makes him range, but it does give him that nice extra vision. And the eye popping up middle lane, actually. Oh, this is weird. Double invis now. He comes out, he goes in on the stun, but Legionnaire Beaner, he taunts them both, actually. Devil going to turn this around. Ron Grass, it misses, however. Magnus able to sidestep it. Not in the long run, though. Release a Kraken, it will pull Legionnaire in. He takes some good damage from it. Will he die? He will. The creep's doing enough to assist for the kill right there, and what you got at least gets credit for that. Actually, Tempest getting it, so got some revenge in the end for the Magnus teammate kill.
That was definitely a better trade for Nullstone because Legionnaires do a lot better than Magnus. Not only that, but they had the suicide involved, and Nullstone didn't. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, the support involved. Yeah, Nornock didn't rotate over. It was like 4 rotated over from Reason, whereas Nullstone only rotated 3. So.
You look at Monarch down here again. He's taking advantage of that new ability. He has the noxious, what is it called? Noxious Nightcrawler. Actually puts a ward of sight behind this bottom tower, kind of through the trees. But Scout's going over. Yep, he's gonna have it explode. Actually, I don't know if that was. He just happened to be running over to the observatory, I think, and happened to run right by it. So again, it's a powerful tool on paper, and it most certainly is a powerful tool overall. But it is very easy to counter in a sense. You don't need a Rev Wars or anything like that, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing a bit more Monarch actually, and the thing with the Noxious Nightcrawler, what you want to do to spot it out is spot out the rotation from a hero, because if you spot out rotation, then that's all the information you need, kind of thing. And if you spot out a gank with it, it's done its job, it's going to die instantly, but you've got the information to know, you have to back off, kind of thing. Whereas having wards in places where heroes are always at, like lane wards, like this one right here, this one's going to get popped instantly, and it's not going to give them any information. This kind of ward hit, you would want a normal ward, but
yeah, because
this one's going to get eventually popped by a Scout when he runs up to it. The places you want it is places where no one really goes to, except if they're going to gank, kind of thing. It's hard to really find those spots, but if you can, then they're a lot more useful.
And also going to keep an eye on the skill build. I know you were talking about that before we saw him after.
Yes,
because it's definitely Chrysalis is a powerful tool in itself. You could argue at least putting 1 point into that early on, but.
Yeah, the only problem with putting it at 1 point early on though is that it's a really low damage reduction and it can backfire if it goes wrong. For example, like I think either you max the Q and E or you max the Q and the W.
Okay.
Maybe have 1 point in Noxus Nightcrawler just for the not for the damage, but for just the one ward. But like it's one of those abilities that, or one of the heroes that you can skill it any kind of way. I guess it depends on the matchup, but it's just it's a really hard hero to skill because every skill is very very important to be maxed out. But obviously you can't max them all out. So. One thing I'm quite certain of though is you only want to have 1 point in the ulti because the scaling of it is very very poor. Only 50 more movement speed, so get it at level 6 and then don't get it again until you've maxed out the Q, W, and E.
Not even for the cooldown reduction, an extra 26. Actually, middle lane we do have initiation. Devos gets caught right here. You see Monarch assisting, using that crippling pollen of hers to assist with the kill with Kraken. At least the Kraken was used. Bottom tower goes down. Shadowblade able to push it in. Scout couldn't do much about that. Now it's the top lane too. Dampier's pushing at the top tower. He goes over the kill. Magma stuns in time though. And now Imba Boy is going to take some good tower damage. He still wants to get a turn here. But yeah, he's going to hide in the steam bath. Will be fine. He's forced to eat a creep actually. But back to the middle lane. They do take out Nier, who happened to still be hanging around trying to protect the middle tower since his teammate died. So a couple of kills in favor of Nullstone Gaming, including the tower kill. And that's a lot of momentum in their favor all of a sudden.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, just going back to the Monarch, I mean, it's only a 20-second cooldown reduction when you level it to level 6 to level 11. And I don't think it's that big of a deal, like, compared to another one of your skills. Increase your mana cost by 50 as well from it. Like, if you're going to use it once in a team fight, you're not going to use it twice just from a 20-second cooldown reduction, so I don't see the biggest use of it, honestly. But
Yeah.
you might do it.
Shadowblade down here. He's got a sustainer picked up, so again, is that I assume that's going to be the Nullstone here. You mentioned the idea of a Rune Cleaver. It's actually bottom lane. No, Kraken missed the charge. Getting into the Rune Cleaver option though, it's like if you're going to go Rune Cleaver, why not just get a Staff of the Mastery? Honestly, at that point.
No. That's what I meant. What I meant. I said the Staff of the Master acts as a Rune Cleaver.
No. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm backing you up, man. So
I'm kind of confused. What do you mean?
I'm saying that, okay, he might be in trouble.
Oh, you think
Scouts
he's going to go
coming in right here. There's the charge. The taunt comes out. Now he popped his Gargantuan Blast. You see how tanky he is with the level 4 of that. And that's actually more than enough to keep them off. In fact, could set up some counterplay right here with Fuzzy Sloth going in Nymphora. Torrent onto him, but he's going to be fine. And that will be the end of that. But yeah, no, that's what I was getting at, though. With the Sustainer possibly picking up a Rune Cleaver, it's like, why would you do that? So that's what I'm getting at. If he does go, then we'll kind of question it. But I assume it's going to be the Nullstone, though.
Yeah, I assume so. There's some decent spells to stop, like the Scout ulti, for example, and the Legionnaire Taunt. But then you're playing against a Deadwood, which it has no problems of cancelling out the Nullstone because of the Tree Log throw. He does need mana regeneration though if he's going to farm the jungle by like spamming out the Q and the E and the W, for example. I can understand that, but yeah, I guess they are Nullstone Gaming after all. But you know.
Yeah.
No, I think if he's going to do this, I think like the Nullstone really is there for the regen for farming. But if you're going to go farming, then go Self the Master anyway. It gives decent stats in terms of mana, not greatest mana regeneration, of course, but still decent mana. Sort of stats.
Tempest, he's on his way to an Astrolabe here, so what you got? Going on more of the utility-style Tempest build here. It feels like we've been seeing a lot of Portal Key first Tempest, honestly, as of late, but what you got kind of sticking to more of the, in a sense, I guess you can call it somewhat old schoolish, not really, it's just the other style, we'll call it that, as far as his build choice.
It's because it fits well in the draft, though, in the strategy here. Like, they want to group up and push, and that's where the Astrolabe works well, whereas a lot of other drafts and strategies, they don't want to group up and push, so, you know, you might as well just skip the Astrolabe entirely and try and rush, like, the late-game Shrunken, Rester, and Portal Key, obviously.
Okay. What was I getting at, too? Deadwood, yeah, he actually just about has his Portal Key, so, of course, keeping that in mind right there. Legionnaire also has his, right? In fact, he's killing some Ancients off, but he has enough gold for his Portal Key now. And I assume that's what he's going to get. So this is pretty good timing overall. Dampier, he also, again, a lot of big things happening right here for the Hellborn team right now. Dampier is doing very well. Imba Boy, again, despite them having a jungler that's been stacking up the camps and working with them quite a bit, still managed, again, very good farm. So I must say, these last couple of games with a jungle hero working with Dampier, I've honestly, you know, maybe changed my mind a little bit. If you do it appropriately, then, and they get the good lane farm at least, and it can work out fairly well. But there is that Portal Key purchase on Legionnaire. And I expect to see the Grimoire Power, of course, coming up shortly here for Dampier to be picked up.
I think that one game where we saw Dampier from Nelson had a jungle as well, didn't they? And they didn't have N4 either. Like, they just
that was I remember bringing it up in that game too. It's like, oh, they have a jungle. What are they doing? But they actually pulled it off pretty well in that series too. So there's the Null Stone on Beaverbanger, by the way. Speaking of that, finish that in full. Yeah, again, we saw earlier the Gargantuan Blast. Do not underestimate that ability, man. 8 armor, 4 magic armor, and 12 strength on top of that. You look right here now. He actually hasn't used his ulti, and this is one of these things that, again, I know it's somewhat a small thing, but not really. Like, why hasn't he used his ulti yet? There's literally no point not to. It's only a 30-second cooldown, only costs you 30 mana. Why are you not enhancing at least one of your stats right here? And there we go. He finally does use it actually on his strength. So now he will be bulked up quite a bit. But, you know, it's just getting at the point. It's like, you should be doing that as soon as you level it up. There's no reason not to. But he does have it now.
I guess he's just not maybe too familiar with the hero as well, because if you want to be like, oh, top lane.
Yeah, gets caught. Caught that pretty much the last second, decapitate, and his head is no longer there.
But I go back to, like, if you are going to play this hero and you want to get the most effectiveness as you can, and if you're going to do that, then you should go into the outpost as well, pick up like a Mighty Blade, and then do it again to get even more strength out of his ulti.
Dampier has that Grimoire finished. Scout, how's he been doing? You know, Zane level 8, a whole lot of farm. Not too surprising. Again, that's not what you really want out of Scout. Going back to what you think when we saw him being ran as that Suicide Scout, more so just getting the levels. Can eventually start picking up some farm and maybe like a Brutalizer or something like that.
That is true. But then it's not too big of a deal though, because all he kind of needs at this moment is kind of levels though, because his effectiveness or his reason in this game is to just right click and disarm Shadowblade. And then, you know, sometimes stop 10% almost with the Electro, and then scout with the Q as well. Like, he almost acts as like the Tundra Bird kind of thing. Like, he's the scouter, then you've got the Nymphora plus Deadwood or Legionnaire or even Dampier, sort of sap the kills with him. And then obviously he's got the marksman shot to finish off any stragglers. So it's not too bad that he's got no farm at this moment. Obviously, in the mid to late game, you want to pick up the Brutalizer, maybe Stronghead as well, to be safe in team fights. But at the moment, he's doing fine. Hasn't died, so that's what you want from a suicide at the end of the day.
Exactly, that's what it goes back to. Is don't die, then in a sense you're really accomplishing your mission. Middle tower, easy kill onto it. Goes down right there, so at the top lane though in the meantime, Dampier and Nymphora kind of pushing it in. There's a TP though. Gonna scare them off initially. Kraken does have a portal key, gonna put a beautiful charge on a Dampier. Zeal stun comes out, release Kraken to lock him down. He goes for the live still, turning it around Nymphora with a TP. Is it gonna work? Oh, that would have been epic, but no, the Tempest ults him in. Pulls them in, and they both get taken out. Now they kill the tower still, so again, kind of a minor victory there in the end, but they do lose the 2 heroes, and well played by Nullst on that. That was a chance for an escape, though. That would have been pretty.
It was a good play as well from near, because it forced out the Tempest ulti as well. Because I think Tempest actually stunned the Dampier, so he had to ulti to stop the TP from Nymphora. And they get the top tower as well, while the rest of the team is just split pushing mid and bot. So this is what I was talking about from Reason. Their strategy is just don't take team fights, because their team fight is too strong. Like, they've got Astrolabe now on Tempest, and then, you know, obviously eventually they got Portal King Kraken as well. So yeah, just split push as much as possible.
Yeah. Goes the top tower kill in favor of Nullstone Game, but yeah, here's that counter push coming out here from Reason. Middle tower dropping pretty quickly. I don't think they have a vulnerability. That one's going to fall. So again, taking what they can get here does Reason Game. And so even after losing their Dampier and Nymphora at the top lane, I mean, you look at the gold lead they still have an experience lead. Nearly 4,000 gold lead. And almost 4,000 experience lead on top of that. So yeah, big picture, still fairly good here. Imba Boy back to farming at the top lane. Again, and with that Grimoire, he's level 12 now, so he is able to farm pretty quickly as that flash farming capability. There's a Barbed Armor on Legionnaire. Does have that picked up now. I could go back to it. It is kind of a funky item on him because of the increasing his armor by so much, and then popping the Barbed Armor. But it still is good. It's still a solid choice. And I can see why people get it, but it's just not as powerful as maybe as you'd like it to be for that reason. But
yeah, but I guess any hero that almost forced you to attack him is useful in Barbed Armor, I guess. But yeah, I do know that idea. Yeah. And even in the late stage, late stage of the game, it's going to be useful because if you're thinking of Shadowblade with 6 slot items, then it doesn't even matter if Legionnaire gets plus armor because he's just going to go through it anyway, kind of thing. So, job points no. He might even need a shrunk in this game as well, though, because Magma's Eruption is going to do. I guess that's the only thing that's really doing magic damage, I guess.
Yeah.
So he might even try and also it doesn't synergize too well with Bob Armor as well if you're going Shrunken End, as we talked about I think the last series. So, but maybe should have. I don't know. Actually, it could go either way. I think.
Now, Nymphora hasn't necessarily been used in the teleport.
Oh, that
this
ward.
game. As yeah, there you go. Spot Scout kind of going on over. You look at Nymphora though. Speaking of her using the teleport, she uses it right there.
Yeah, that's gonna get dewarded instantly as well.
Oh, so they did see that.
Yeah, they saw it with that ward there placed by Resha. I really like that ward though. I've talked to sometimes about it as well. Like whenever you're going against heroes that can dodge your defensive wards, i.e. Nymphora, or i.e. Revenant, before Smoke Ganks, for example. I like when people do really aggressive wards because you can spot out those incoming plays like that. So
yeah,
nice wards from there, and yes, dewarded instantly. Oh no, it isn't. It should be dewarded instantly though.
Kraken went up there, yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but for some reason it's still not yet. Because
they saw Nymphora TP just by herself, and Nymphora's not going to go for a gank by herself. You know exactly where that ward spot is going to be. Like that is so textbook, I think, to ward there.
There is a ref ward on Magnus now. He just actually got delivered to him, so I don't know if that's yeah, he puts it back on the courier actually, but they'll take care of it eventually here, I'm sure. You look at the build here with Beaverbanger. Searing Light actually finished, and he has used his Essence Shift to maximize his agility here, as we see. So we're looking at plus 26 agility coming out from him. And again, you see he's level 2 of the Essence Shift. Level 3 goes up to 40% of the primary attribute. But look at the Veiled Rock gank from Recent Gaming. Definitely setting something up. Dust comes out. There we go with the jump up for Legion. And then boom goes the dynamite right off the bat of Monarch. Down falls Magnus as well. No time to react for Nullstone Gaming right there. And actually, Shadowblade also fell back from the Ancients. So there's even a couple of Ancients, the bigger ones left behind. And Reason might be able to steal that.
Really nice fight from Reason as well. They catch at Nullstone when they're not grouped as 5, and those quick bursts from both Legionnaire and Dib were just able to get the job done before Nullstone can really react. Kraken actually went on to Dampier in the top lane, and whenever there's like a disjointed team fight, that's where Reason are the strongest.
Yeah. There you go. You see, finishes off the Ancients. Bottom lane, though, Scott actually gets picked up by Shadowblade. Happens to catch him in an awkward spot, I guess, and I assume he had to have some kind of vision, whether it was dust or something like yeah, he has dust on him, so able to chase down Zane and finish the job. You see Zane again, Ghost Marcher's Abyssal Skull. That is his first death of the game now, but I also just saw him purchase a Mighty Blade right there, so again, the idea of the Brutalizer, or even possibly the Shrunken Head. Whatever he chooses to do here. A full Dawnbringer probably going to be the case, you mentioned that. For the game as well as an option for Shadowblade, and seems like Beaverbanger. That's the Rowty may end up going here in the end. Portkey, of course, on Dampier in the meantime, and his farm continues to be up there at 475. But yeah, Legionnaire, you look at where he's at. As he actually has a Warhammer picked up here. I'm curious. So you seem to, yeah, that makes the most sense. But I mean, what else?
Yeah, but you normally pick up Mighty Blade if you're going Shrunken. Like the one thing I've thought about, but I was thinking Shieldbreaker, but
they catch Shadowblade right here. Now again, look at that. He's just too tanky, man. Can't get through that. Also with a Willowmaker, even reducing the strength on top of that. Still not.
He's got a lot of armor though, because he's got that agility.
Yeah, that's true.
Big thing. That's why I thought he was going to go agility carry, and he looks like he's building towards that way. Probably pick up maybe Wingbow next, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gone. He could still go into sort of the int build as well. Like normally that Nullstone Dawnbringer is normally sort of an int build.
Well, Wingbow's such a good item on too because he can go the range for him and take advantage of it. So, yeah, Wingbow just seems like it's probably the best choice here.
By the way, your question, I think it was last series actually. If Malikan ulti, does he get Wingbow? I tested it, but
yeah.
You get extra range when you're in range from him.
Yeah.
You do get the plus 100 when you go, which is kind of cool.
Really?
I guess it makes sense though, because obviously when you pop ulti, you turn range, so I guess it would swap out.
Yeah.
So, but you don't get the melee benefit of it as well, unfortunately. That would be pretty pro. If you had like the melee plus the range benefit of it, that'd be kind of cool. But.
Yeah. That's I'm glad you did the research. So now we know for the time we never will see a Wingbow on a Malikan.
Yeah, I know.
We know the answer though, just in case. See the middle lane push coming out here. 30 charges now on that Essence Shift for Shadowblade, more so 30 agility. Able to build that up. Again, we'll see if he takes advantage of the idea that he could do when he gets to go for like a Dancing Blade if he wants to go Wingbow, purchase it, get the buff up and sell it. Maybe have money for a buyback, but just take advantage of the buff. Anyways, middle tower being pushed in, and it's going to be an easy tower kill. You see no restraint put up by Reason.
Yeah, Reason do not want to fight. the only thing Reason will do is defend high ground. Because if they defend high ground, they have ways to sort of burst someone down and just really repel Null Stone from their base. But any other team fights, they are not looking to take. So I'm just going to keep on farming, keep on split pushing, because they don't have the heroes to do it. They've got the late game, I think, because of that scout. That scout factor is a big impact there, because he's going to really... Look, we haven't seen it yet, but in the mid to late game, he's going to have a big impact just by shutting down the Shadow Blade in team fights. But as long as you can keep right-clicking, keep on to summon, that's big impacts.
These portal keys, man, and obviously Scout being there too, and they get a kill on a Kraken, so... Kraken was farming up the bottom lane, not really too far out either. I mean, had a tower near him, but able to chase him down and get another kill right there. He has another 1,800 gold saved up, so Kraken actually has been farming very well himself too, but that'll slow him down ever so slightly here. Scout continuing to be that nuisance, and that's even more reason why you really want this vision around the map here for this lead side. And I must say, again, on paper, the Noxious Nightcrawler, he only has a 2, so he does actually stop leveling it. In fact, he's 2/2/2, and then he has the 1. Now, he's only level 7, obviously, so...
I'm not feeling that build break.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you want to do that, then you just max like the Q and the W and have 1 point in E, as I've talked about before, because when you have 2/2 and everything, every skill seems weak kind of thing. There's no strong skill. Like, and also, particularly... Like, this is my reason. Like, when you have, if you want to max the E, that's fine and all. Like, you want to take advantage of the wards, but he hasn't placed a lot of wards. And not only that, when you max the E, you do it so you have kill potential in the laning phase. But the laning phase is passed by like 15 minutes practically, so you do not want to be laning that anymore. Whereas the Q and the W still have an impact in the mid to late game. So obviously the W is like your save, the Q is your lockdown, your CC. Whereas the E doesn't do anything in teamfights because, like, what, 30 magic damage is absolutely nothing. So I do have to disagree with this build, but I guess it will give him a couple more wards, which is going to be useful because obviously a lot of ganks have been happening here for a reason.
Well, that's what I was going to get at. Honestly, you could have said he would have been best off maxing out E as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's
actually,
what I mean.
Middle lane. They're going to jump Legionnaire right here. Release Kraken comes out, should have the follow-up. And there we go. Shadowblade goes in to finish the job and take care of business. Yeah, you see the 42 agility on the Essence shift right here, so something tells me he actually did that what we're talking about.
Yeah, I
Bought something that's solely I didn't notice, but that's the only explanation I would think. So, oh no, he's level 60. He has a level 3 alternate, so maybe that was what put it ahead. But anyways, point being, he has a lot of charges, and I think the cap used to be 40, if I'm not mistaken. So again, that kind of goes back to that as well, how it was raised here.
They're going to take Congo, though. This is going to be really big, though, because, like I said, Reason have always been able to actually repel Nullstone from their base, because that's why Nullstone haven't really been pressuring it. But with this token now on Shadowblade, like, they can siege high ground very easily. They put token on Shadowblade, they goes into int form and slowly tickles down the base.
This is going to be interesting. They pour it into the Congo area. Dust comes out, but it was just too late.
Oh,
not going to risk anything.
What a play from Resha. He actually disables the portal key from Dampir.
Oh,
Dampir was looking to go in, I think, but he stopped the portal key and obviously couldn't try and go in for a big play. So really nice play there from Resha. that's heads up play, man. Like, that's a really good play.
Absolutely, and that's obviously a good tool of that ability. So, but yeah, that goes back to you definitely have a good argument for maxing that out first. But hey, he chose not to. It looks like, in fact, he's even. Well, that's unfortunate. Deadwood finds him. Quick kill, says Chrysalis this. No time to do it. Tempest, he's also caught it as well. Marksman shot and everything else that'll finish him off. And all of a sudden, a couple of heroes being picked off in the favor of Reason. So that token of life is great and all, but they lose a couple of heroes here and there. And I really think it goes back. I mean, they got some vision up now, but I feel like it's been somewhat dark. But again, this is just a very gotcha team with a scout, the several portal keys that they have, the Nymphora aspect. There's constantly, could be anywhere, it feels like, I'm sure, for Nullstone.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I was talking about obviously Monarch with the E sort of placing a lot of wards, and that's going to be useful against like Deadwood and Legionnaire. But
oh no, Shadowblade! He tried to TP. He's found by Dampir, and this could at least be the token. Now it's just Dampir. That was an illusion. I thought that might have been another hero, but I still think it should be enough. Here, who's coming in? That's Magus, I believe. Yeah, Magus is coming here, but just not in time. That's that's awkward. He thought he might have continued to chase.
Really nice play there from Imberboy.
Yeah.
Now Nullstone's chance to go high ground is just nullified, so that's a massive Pickoff actually. Really well played from Imberboy. That's pretty ballsy as well though, because like he doesn't know if Nullstone are closer or not, like, so he could easily die. He might have not had a buyback either, so just really well played there from him, boy. He's 0-1 and 0, man. I just realised that.
Yeah, not the most active Dampier here. And again, technically had a kill there, but with the token, well, not so much. But
yeah, just going back to the Monarch thing, though, with the E, like, it's really good against playing against heroes or playing against teams that are looking to get active early and gank-oriented kind of style of drafts. And this is what Reason are looking to do, but with the Nim 4 report, those wards are not going to be spotted because Nim 4 has been ported into trees and the ward's not going to do anything. Same goes for Scout as well because he's going to be invis. So although the Monarch pick does have a lot of merit to it, it's not as effective as I once thought it would be, honestly.
53 agility now for Shadowblade. Still, I'm keeping an eye on that because he's going to be hitting really hard. And that's the cool thing about the Faint Siphon as well. Let's not forget that not only is it a great damage enhancer, but it's also in a sense a carry, an anti-carry ability with the fact that it steals that damage. So, heroes like this Dampier, of course, who sure relies on magic damage, but a couple of auto attacks, and Deadwood, I mean, even Scout will be able to steal damage from them. I guess the more I am looking at it, this isn't the most hard-hitting individual attack team, so that's where maybe the draft actually was pretty good from Reason Gaming too, against the Shadowblade here, but it still is going to be somewhat of a factor, though. Of course.
The draft from Reason is really good, though. Like, everything about that Scout is really, really strong. And when Scout picks up a Brutalizer as well, it's just going to wreck this Shadowblade. Because I would say Savage Mace, just so he can secure the disarm procs onto Shadowblade, because obviously it looks like he's going to build towards a Wingbow, but it's too much farm and he doesn't have the farm, so he's going to have to go Brutalizer. You're seeing it does so nicely with the Scout as well. Like when you get those 3 items, Shrunken, Abyssal, plus Brutalizer, it's sort of similar like Madman as well. You can do a lot of work in team fights.
Yeah. Legionnaire did go the Shrunken Head, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that, but
yeah, I think like I said, I think it was 50-50. But I mean, we talked about how Dempy's not really getting active and looking to get involved in kills, and I think it's less so about misplay. I think it's more so because Nullstone are grouping up and sort of staying as 5. There hasn't really been an opportunity to. Like Deadwood and Legionnaire have been finding the kills, and Dempy's are sort of focused on farming, which he's doing very, very good. So I can understand it.
Yeah. Shadowblade, there you go. Wingbow is delivered and has that to work with now. And again, he uses that Essence Shift right away. So now 59 plus agility. He's at 207 agility right now. That's or at least it was for when he has a Steam Boost onto that. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous as far as his agility.
I'm really glad he's got the agility build though as well, because there is a lot of physical presence here from the side of Reason.
Armor,
so the armor's going to do a lot of work.
27 armor here. Jeez.
It's going to get higher as well. Because I think he's going to go Gunjura next as well, give him a mobility item.
Magnus needed a stun. I don't know why he didn't stun there. I mean, they were coming. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, that should have been a kill right there, I think, and just for whatever reason, chose to play it safe.
Yeah, definitely, man. Just cut me off. I talk too much anyway, so just do it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a Gunjura item next on the Shadowblade because he needs a mobility item. Like, normally when we see the int build from him, like he picks up the sheep stick, so he's able to sort of catch people and keep on chasing because of that sort of slow, sometimes even the frost build, but with the agility build, the Gunjura makes a lot of sense just to catch people.
Scout, he did go the Shrunken Head himself too, so that's that. 1,500 gold more saved up on him. Again, Zane's been doing... Yeah, he put out the stat line earlier of the 0-1-0 Imba Boy. Still there, in fact, and it does go to show you that, yeah, his team is just doing a great job of controlling around him and allowing him to just get a lot of free farm. And, Dampier, most certainly a hero that, honestly, ideally you want to get involved earlier on and get some kills. That's why he gets the portal key sooner than later and has potential to put out a lot of upfront magic damage. But at the same time, he can still scale pretty well into the later game. And that's what they're banking on here. But, yeah, Shadowblade just getting bigger and better. So, an Imba Boy side, he at least has some good backup around him. Legionnaire, Deadwood, and even Scout now pretty good. And more so on the Legion side, a lot of it's going to be on Shadowblade. They do have a demonic breastplate here on Kraken, so it's not all on him. And of course, they got big AoE synergy with Tempest and Magnus is always good to use. But we're going to see some split pushing right here once again. Shadowblade at the top lane. You see in that int form, just in the range. Gonna drop that tower pretty damn quickly. Bottom lane, yeah, they catch Scout. Monarch and Kraken actually. On the middle lane, Magnus stunts in. Tempest comes in. The ultimate lockdown Dampier. Here comes Shadowblade. Dampier is gonna end up falling. This Hailstone was just out of range. Nymphoria is gonna go for the TP. She will be successful. But what happened there? 2 kills for Nullstone, and now they're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do necessarily, but they're gonna try to capitalize. Yeah.
Yeah, their pressure mid, Congo is not up against their pressure mid, forced buybacks from Scout and Dampier. That will force Nullstone back though, because Tempest armor is down, but still good play to make, regardless. So.
Going up on the uphill here, again, you see the buybacks are definitely there. So if anything, getting them to be used is important. They saw Legionnaire with that ward from Monarch, but Legionnaire Portakes away before he gets caught. But does distract. I mean, he takes a bit of time, actually, and Scout's going to be up now here shortly. Won't have to use a buyback.
Yeah, Nullstone are really almost timid because they don't want to pressure the tier 3 too much, and then Dampier buys back and Legion jumps in, for example, and then they just wipe because no Tempest ultimate. So they're playing a little bit timid. And Dampier didn't even have to use a buyback, so just nice play, honestly, from Reason. And the reason why that works so well, though, is because although Imberboy did die, all the lanes were pushed out so much that Nullstone couldn't capitalize quick enough. They had to push out the lanes, which cost him 20 seconds. And when they were pressuring, the tier 3, he had kind of enough, obviously, to use buyback, for example, and then wipe the team fight. So that one pickoff from Dampier wasn't that big of a deal, honestly.
Yeah. Wonder what Shadowblade is going to go for next now. I mean,
Genjuro.
Genjuro. I honestly think something like a Rift Shards. It's even more just raw.
Nah, it doesn't work. I think he just wants to build stats, kind of similar to Gemini in that respect. Just build stats on him. It's kind of a stat-based carry. Rift Shards would be cool and all, which would give him a lot of damage. And I don't think it's a bad pickup because they do need damage, seeing as they're going to rely so much on him. But Genjuro is going to be able to sort of dart out in and out of the team fight, for example, which is going to be useful against Legionnaire, Deadwood, Dampier. And give him more stats as well, more armor, man. Just need to stack that armor with a physical presence.
It definitely would do that and give him even more charges other than Essence Shift. Again, even a little bit surprised he didn't do that yet, as he has to go for it. He actually buys a Bound Eye, so he has that here. And gonna push out the bottom lane slightly. Will eventually fall back. There is Kraken. No, that's an illusion up here. Deadwood was ready to jump in if he kept pushing, but not the case, of course. Shadowblade now goes into the jungle. So yeah, he has another 4,200 gold saved up. Again, I'm trying to recall what does the staff do for the agility? It doesn't say on it either. I don't.
Is it
think,
True Strike? Is it True Strike? I'm not sure if it's.
It might be. No, yeah, I think you are right on that. I think it might be True
Strike.
Strike. Yeah.
Because I think E is the mana burn, Q is the cleave, and I think W is the True Strike. I believe. Because I remember playing it, and it's like, oh, Staff Master on W isn't even, like, it's good and all, but it's like, it's alright.
The funny thing about staff too, that it's so focused on what it does for the abilities, but honestly, it actually makes the Essence Shift kind of cool too. It makes it, I believe, it's 5-second cooldown, down from 30 seconds. So the idea that you could be using your Essence Shift in the middle of team fight, so you go and with more agility, more damage, and then actually in the middle lane we have a jump right here. Legionnaire going to be caught, and he goes down. So yeah, he had no support nearby. He was pushed up a little bit too far, and that's a good catch, of course, by Nullstone Gaming right there. To pick up that kill. But yeah, going back to that real quickly, say you jump him with, the agility that he has it now. If he starts to die or whatever, wants to try to get away, he pops his Q, he pops his ultimate on him, and, that'll take him off really extra as he gets the strength attribute as a result of that. And then maybe he can look to turn around once again, going back to the W form. So it's something extra.
I don't know.
It's something extra. I'm not saying it's like, oh, that's a reason to really get Staff of the Master, but
I know what you're saying, but I don't think that's honestly. I don't think it's that big of a deal because if they're doing Congo actually, they want pressuring Congo. I think Reason will definitely have to defend. If they are, this is a very highly contested Congo right now.
This is.
If Nullstone get this, like they're gonna almost take Rex. Could even be the game.
Look how much armor he has when he pops Q, especially 36 armor. Deadwood jumps in, takes off the Nullstone, Kraken with his plus as well as Magnus, and Deadwood is gonna drop immediately. Instant regret on that one. He does not have a buyback, indeed.
That was just. I don't think the reason we're ready to jump in though. Like Dampier didn't go in, neither did the Scout.
Man, they're
It
clumped
was.
here, too. They need to be careful. There's some good vision, too. Beautiful ward right there from Escher. Legionnaire jumps in, they want the quick go. Magma 7 instant, and there's that tap. It's all that's going to be stopped pretty quickly by the Seal Stun, though, as Legionnaire staying alive. He goes to his teammate, actually, using that faint Siphon on his Magma's teammate, I believe. Release Kraken, it does pull a Dampier, as well as Scout. Scout's going to fall. Eruption down to the background. It's not going to do anything, but hey, it looked pretty, and Dampier does go down as well. He actually stuns Legionnaire in the background. He, of course, bought back to try to help defend this, but right now, Nullstone looking really strong, and they are going to capitalize big time right here. A near genocide when it's all said and done. That faint Siphon, again, you can also use it on a teammates, as he showed right there, to help him get away initially.
It was even nice play as well. He pops the E to get vision in the woods as well, so it lines up everywhere. But I have to admit that Cholo Simeon, man, played so well in that team fight, and that's going to be game,
The game's
man.
over. Are you kidding me? Wow. I cannot believe that. The game, I don't know if Nullstone led for any of that game as far as team stats, and then they win it in the end.
They didn't. They really didn't.
What a finish.
Just that jump from Embre was just a little bit YOLO, too YOLO.